Alright, guys, today we're gonna be reacting to She Got Triggered after they told her the harsh truth. Jump in.
Stifler, ask everyone to rate their looks on a scale of 1 to 10. Their looks, physical looks, scale 1 to 10. We'll start with you. We'll go around the table. Go ahead.
8. Today, 8.5.
8, 8.5.
I'm a 10.
Wow.
7.
7.
8.
6.5.
Okay.
I'd say 7.58, 4.
That's lower than last time. Yeah. I used to say 6. I'm a 5.
In front of all these beautiful women, how could I ever not humble myself down to a 4, really?
Proud of you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Took guts.
I'm a 5. I give myself a 5. So wait, 8, 8.5, 10, 7? 8? Okay. All right.
Brian, you rated yourself lower than usual.
Yeah, I've been getting a little chubby. So.
6.5.
See, now that's humble.
Yeah, that's humility.
That's
right there.
humble. That's humility. Right? That's the thing that's usually harder for men to do. Just say it. Just point it out.
I've noticed a pattern here. I think men tend to fairly accurately self-assess their own level of physical attractiveness, whereas
I've heard
women
men
not
have
so much.
more self-esteem issues than women do.
Ah, wow.
Men
Okay.
have more self-esteem issues than women do.
Men have more self-esteem issues than women do. She said that. She said that. When they're always a propaganda lying to them, telling them they're 10. Okay. Let's keep watching, folks.
Why would you say that?
And I also heard that they're also more emotional.
Are they?
Who have you heard these
Yeah,
things
because,
from?
well, I mean, you guys will act off based off pride, and that is going to be like an emotion thing, not necessarily logic.
Okay.
Do you think
But-
men or women have more cosmetic surgery?
I think probably women.
Yeah, probably women. Do you think that that's because they have way more self-esteem than men?
I don't think that necessarily what I'm talking about is the same thing. I just mean
Well, I think it is.
Symmetric.
well, for instance, you just rated yourself a 4, right?
Yeah.
And maybe people may not agree with you, and I just rated myself a 10, and people may not agree with me, right? But we're just talking about our self-esteem. My self-esteem is clearly higher than
No, I'm
yours.
not sure that we are. I think that what we're talking about is a value judgment. And I think that I'm making a way better value judgment than the value judgment that you're making. So the value judgment that I'm making is this. I'm old, and I'm married, and I'm out of shape, and I smoke, right? And I'm not a very pleasant person to be around for long periods of time, especially for the opposite sex. Like, I know all of these things about myself. So my value judgment overall is a 4. Tell me the value judgment of how you came to a 10.
Oh yeah, I just think that in general we should think that we are great.
Right, so you just decided it there's
just
no
made it up.
value judgment there. You just decided it.
Yeah, he asked me what I would rate myself, and
Yeah.
because it's my opinion
Looks.
about myself,
Just looks.
it took a long time for me to love myself, and I do now, and so yeah, I think
And you know what? I was gonna mention a lot of these things are the simps. The simps have a lot of fault on this. The simps have a lot of fault on this. They tend to lie a lot. They tend to just message these kind of women, and they tell them lie just to get themselves laid. And they end up like this female saying that she's a 10. 10. She's a model, a supermodel.
that like, you know, I'm a Misty 10.
I have a question for you. Wait, hold on, just one sec. Do you
And
think
you're a 7.5?
I said 8.
Yeah, get it right?
How
Andrew.
did you
Get
come,
it right,
how did you
Andrew.
come to that value judgment?
Because I don't put within my value within a rigidity. That's not the right word. Rigidity. Thank you.
Rigidity, yeah.
I don't put that within that rigidity of certain, I guess,
Value judgments.
more subjective opinions about what value.
But how did you get to that point? That's the question. How did you get to the 8? That's the
It's
word we're asking.
Because I know my value, I know my worth, and I know my beauty that I hold within myself for myself, and that is appreciated by other people. Because at the end of the day, beauty is subjective, and it is absolutely within my right to hold myself to a higher value and how I conduct myself in the world around me.
Yeah, but when you're talking about
Okay.
the value judgment here, my wife, I'm sure that she has a way higher value judgment of me than I have of me. I would agree that she probably should. From her subjective assessment, she probably thinks I'm a great provider. She thinks I'm a great father. She thinks I take care of all of my responsibilities and duties. She can 100% trust me. So she probably has this really high value judgment of me. But when I'm doing an actual assessment of me, like Andrew Wilson, the person, and my looks and how it's reflected outwards to other people, right? I'm adding this value, this value, this value, this value, this value, like a mathematical formula to come up with that equals 4. What are you doing to come up with that other than I just think that we should have high self-esteem so that because I just think so.
Because I know I'm a good person. Because frankly, if we want to get aesthetic, I don't have a busted face. I'm fat. And if people want to reduce my value because of my fatness, that's not my problem. And that is not the ideology I hold for myself.
So she just contradicted herself. She went from she don't want to contradict herself, but then she just doing a subjective statement. The thing is that when it comes down to value, we don't determine that, right? We can be confident. We can listen to Tony Robbins every morning, and dream that we are perfect people that like to fly around without airplanes, right? However, it's society that determines that value. Now you can modify that by just working on yourself, working out, become a better person, be a provider for a lot of people around you. However, when we come to that conclusion, from your perspective, we don't know where to start. We simply don't know where to start.
I am someone who is pursuing weight loss, not for aesthetics, not for looks, but for my health. And it is something I'm moving forward with because I have been for the past 2 to 3 years now working on my self-love and loving myself into a place to care enough
What the
about
hell is she
myself
saying? I have no
to
idea.
take my health back into control. When I was being
Look at them,
consistently
they're like,
shamed
she's
when I
just
was
full
gang
of it.
stalked on r/fat people hate in 2015, when I have
Looks like it worked.
I'm still
Disavow.
speaking.
I mean, it looks like it works.
I'm still
right?
speaking.
It
and you
works
get-
because you're going to
You know,
change.
you're really great at over talking and being disrespectful, and I'd love the opportunity to get my point across.
Okay, but so just to cut in here a little bit, the original question was rate your looks because
Yeah.
you mentioned your personality.
Yeah, we
you
don't
have
care
great
about that.
personality or whatever it is.
And like I said, my fatness doesn't devalue me.
Why?
So I'm an 8.
Why doesn't it?
Because I
Mm.
think
This is the first time that she's getting confronted. I like these kind of shows because it just demonstrates reality. When some of these ideas or those ideas are confronted or tested. Love that.
fat
'Cause you
can be beautiful. It's my assessment of my looks, right?
Perspective.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
why
okay.
is it that your
Why
own
ask her
assessment of
to
your
tell her
looks
that her
has
perception's wrong?
nothing to do with how the external world perceives you? That's my
Because
problem.
I don't give a
How
shit.
can
Right, because you don't
decide?
care, so there's no
I
real
don't care
value
about.
judgment.
I don't care about other people's
how can
opinion
you-
of
how
me.
can
It's
you
not more
speak for
important
the
than the
rest
opinion
of
of
the
I hold of
world?
myself.
Yeah,
and
it
if you
is.
if you don't live that way, that sucks for you.
If there's a value judgment of how you would self-assess your own looks, the only possible conceivable metric I could even think of would be the perception of how other people view you for your value judgment
And
of
I
how
was in a
you look.
relationship for
How would
almost
you
8
know
years with
about
someone
that,
who
though?
thought my
How would you-
body
how could he-
was
how could
the
you ever
most
come up with a
beautiful
metric?
thing
But
he had
that's what I'm saying,
ever
you
seen.
decided that was perceptive.
And
You
he
just
had told me
decided
that
those are the things that you
more
were gonna
often
hold
than
her.
not.
What the hell is going on
Go
here?
ahead.
He had told me that more often
Wait,
than
can you
not.
speak, sir, and-
Yeah, he had told me that more often than
Mm-hmm.
not. I have been pursued by many men who think I am gorgeous and beautiful. That perception exists whether you have it or not.
Okay, so assume for a second, I can assume inside of, I can envision a world where you're the only human being who's inside of the
And
world.
guess what? I'll
And
never
if
be
you're
the only one who thinks I'm
if
hot,
you're-
and I know that bugs the shit out of you,
If you're the
dude.
only human being who's inside
Wow.
of the
His
world,
own
I can
low
perceive.
self-esteem opinion.
I can perceive.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Well, this is the problem with simps. They want to get laid, and then they create this delusion inside these women that would you blame them, right? Would you blame them for believing such thing? No, because there's simps out there just trying to get laid, and they just say all these things to these 5 and 6s. It makes sense why they think that they're 10 or 8.5.
believe that I can come up with whatever metric I want for myself because I have nothing to compare it to. So if I have nothing to compare it to and I have nobody else's value judgment, then I can say I'm the most beautiful person who's ever lived, and that would be true. But if I have the value judgment of hundreds of millions of people to compare the standard to, and I know that I'm below that threshold and just decide that I'm above that threshold anyway,
I'm not the only
that's not
person who
based
makes
on
that
anything
decision.
objective. You're just making shit up.
No,
You
I'm
really
not,
asked us
babe.
our opinion, so yes, it was a made-up opinion from us.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
Yeah, but
It's
that was
way
the point.
overstated
That
what's
was the point.
true.
The only person who's not happy
Your
about that is you.
perception of your truth is not the same for myself or
Thank you.
or
Amen.
anyone
How
else.
about that?
Yeah, what is truth in a world
And
that
also,
you're
and
an
on
eight?
what societal standards in which country?
I must
In
love
every
every
country on planet Earth, she's not an
Respectfully-
eight.
Wait,
Be
what?
re-
Wow, that was a curveball. She just started mentioning what standard, what country. This is how females think, right? They're trying to look for things and make them subjective. And that way, it's less accountability on their own reality. It's crazy, man.
You're ridiculous.
I don't-
It's ridiculous.
In
Let's,
different
let's
places,
be
different
nice.
people
Let's
like
keep
different
things
things.
Yeah, he's so combative, bro. It's wild.
Well,
He gets very upset and then
I
he turns
live,
his
I live
so
in
mad at
reality.
people, bro.
Do you know what
And
reality
that is
is?
the bottom line here, and I've been respectful. We're how many
It's not
hours in?
disrespectful. I'm just telling you what's true.
Oh, what was
I think
the
it's
what
like
was the
the
fuck up about me
energy.
being a mother, bro?
That
the
was
energy
me.
you put towards it.
That was
Bruh.
me
Guys,
being
let's,
able to.
No,
it's
I'm
interesting-
not.
it's
I'm not
interesting to
gonna. I have
claim-
been taking it respectfully for hours now.
But to be fair, also, it's interesting to claim to be so religious and so close to Jesus
Oh,
and be
okay.
so negative.
To tell the truth?
No, I'm just saying, just to be so
What would
negative.
Jesus do? He'd
He
be
would
like,
tu-
"You're a 10,
he would literally
sweetheart.
turn the other
Forget
cheek.
objective
He would
reality."
turn the other cheek.
If I believed
He
in
would
Jesus,
Oh,
he would
wow.
love me as one of God's children.
Now they're
Yes.
cheating
He would
everything.
have known that
Yes.
it's my
Your
journey and my
negativity
life.
is
But he would know
embarrassing
you're
to the
fat too.
religious
Whether he loves you or
Yeah,
not.
and you know what? Being fat is not bad.
It's embarrassing though to
And
claim
that's
the
the
religion you
fundamental
have.
disagreement we
Which is
have.
how
Insane.
negative.
It's just
you-
fucking
it is.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like-
there's gonna be other people who are gonna be like, I don't claim this because it's like this is
well,
part of the reason why you're hypocritical.
There's
It's
no
for
hypocrisy.
You claiming to love and be this one big thing, and then to be so negative.
She's prattling right now. Prattling? So I mean, like she's just talking, but she's not saying anything, right? She's trying to use her shame and guilt. And the one with the red dress, she's using insult, right? The problem with the modern women is that they want to be right so bad that it makes it almost impossible to have an objective conversation. Listen, there's an objective truth, and we know very well that she's unhealthy. That's in the objective truth. However, we have one side of the panel they want to neglect that truth for some reason that we don't know, and we're never going to know. That's why, as men, we have to pay a lot of attention of what's going on in the culture.
Instead of encouraging or say even anything in actually
Love thy neighbor unless you're
form of
fat, right?
encouragement
in
is what
actually
she's
a
getting.
constructive way, you kind of just get pink and start yelling.
What?
The only way
Yeah, he gets real like.
The only way
and
that I
starts-
can get a word in when you shrill harpies are screeching is for me to talk loudly.
Oh no, you're really great at
You
over
do it
talking. It's one of your
regardless.
best
You've been doing
qualities.
it.
You've
Yeah.
discussed
Well, I have to
tonight.
cut down on the prattle. That's
Only
true.
push back on Pink after all of that.
I'm a terrible moderator. Okay, I'm a dog shit moderator. Okay, hold on. Let me just come in really quick. All right, put your swords away for just a sec. The views expressed by the panelists do not necessarily reflect the views of me or the whatever podcast. Now,
Hey,
You
Brian,
s-
man. And you know what's crazy? Even though he's saying that, he still got demonetized, even trying to avoid this, because you are going inside the how do you call it, the lion's den. You know, a lot of these conversations are hard to have, but it is what it is.
okay, I have a question for you.
What?
Do you I think you said women should view themselves better.
Not just women, people in general.
Oh, in general. But so do you think all women should view themselves as tens?
I would love them to, yes, and not because everyone also agrees with them.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are all women tens?
I'm attracted to men.
No, I'm not saying whether you're attracted to them, but I'm
Yeah,
sure
so
you
There you go. There you go. That's a contradiction. So she admitted that it's men the ones to determine who or how attractive women are. She just admitted. She just literally admitted when she said, "I'm not attracted to women." There you go. So men are the ones to determine.
Recognize
perceptive.
a beautiful woman.
It's perceptive.
But do you think all women are 10s?
In their own right, for sure.
Not sure what that means, but okay. Are all men 10s?
In their own right, for sure.
No,
What?
but do you think all men are 10s?
In their own right, for
What-
sure.
Wow.
I don't really understand.
I
Own right, for sure.
I can appreciate things that I'm not necessarily attracted to. Does that make sense?
No.
But do you think?
Wow, that's
So in your eye, are all men 10s? Like just aesthetically, so just by looks.
And women.
Okay, so
and women.
Well, okay.
Because I know that someone thinks they're a 10, in my mind, that's good enough to be part of the
Wow.
10, yes.
I don't know what she's saying.
necessarily date them? Maybe not.
Well-
But as far as like believing they're a 10, I know, for instance, is ice cream bad just because someone doesn't like the ice cream? No, everyone's gonna have their different opinion of it. And so the fact that someone likes green mint ice cream, for me, it might not be my percent, but does it make it bad ice cream? No, it could still be good ice cream. So for that person, maybe they're not necessarily would I date them, but do I believe they should think they are a 10 is what I said earlier. Yes, I believe they should think they are a 10. I think all people should love
So
themselves.
if we ask the question a
it
different
sucks
way
so much to not love yourself.
and said, if you mapped it onto reality, if you just mapped it onto reality,
Okay,
then
so I
what
was
would
talking
you say?
about some other thing.
Yeah, what would you say then if you mapped it onto reality?
What do you mean?
Are all women's 10 if you mapped it onto reality, rather than how you kind of subjectively feel like they should feel about themselves? If you were to map it onto reality outside of that subjective
I think it
analysis.
would vary depending on where I'm at.
You're in
wow.
Kazakhstan.
She doesn't. I don't know what she's saying. I do not know what she's saying. The reason she's not answering straightforward is because she knows she's gonna be caught up in a contradiction. That's why.
Man,
I don't know what the women are
So
like. though.
what would you
pretty
say?
hot, I'd
For
say.
example, what would you
Pretty
say?
stacked.
What would you say Scarlett Johansson would be aesthetically, cross culturally to most men? Do you think
guess
most
it
men would
depends on
find her
which
attractive?
country.
Russian milk.
It depends on what's, I'm only talking from someone who you guys all would not find to be attractive. Like, I'm not someone you're into, but I know there's men
Wow,
who think that I'm
that's
the
an-
shit. And
Wow,
different countries I
that's
go, like we were talking about last
assumption.
time, like I might be like, and someone was clowning,
Huge assumption there.
like she's not a Seattle 10, but like, I think it really depends on where you're at.
What country could Scarlett Johansson be considered not pretty in?
I don't know, I haven't been to all the countries.
Yeah,
Could you
there you
even
go.
envision that there is one?
could, yeah.
You could?
What would you
could.
speculate?
I would speculate
She's okay, I mean.
the area where it would be attractive would be in a culture where the people look like that.
Like Sweden.
So you don't
Scandinavian
think?
countries.
So what you saying? Europe, just Europe in
I
general?
mean, sure, it depends on, I just think
You
it
don't think
depends.
Africa either?
It depends. I'm probably South Africa. I don't know. I mean, it just depends. Like, I'm going to go different places and people are going to receive me different. I was considered to be beautiful in China, but not necessarily someone they would be attracted to, if that makes sense. And when I went to Trinidad, I was the shit. In California, people don't really care that much because I'm not necessarily their societal standards of beauty. So I really think it depends on where
Ay,
I'm
man.
at or where the person's at.
I'm not trying to be mean here, but
No one's a 10.
I
Facts.
I don't think you're a 10.
I know, you said that.
What did she say?
I'm s-
See, look, Catholic. That's why it's Catholic.
I was raised Catholic. What does that have to do with anything?
Here we have another conversational thread here that we can
What does
get
that have to do with
into.
Oh, look at that.
Misty
No, have you guys noticed the the girl with the red dress? She is not having it. Look at her face. She's like, oh man, I want to just jump on top of this table, just punch this guy in the face. That's crazy.
Last
Look at her.
time we were on, we got
Look at
into
that, look,
a
look.
big fun debate.
Look
we
at
were
that.
talking about the patriarchy and systems
God.
and oppressor oppressed. We
remember
talked
those
about
words.
white men. You remember?
Can't remember.
Now I have the ultimate representative here of the patriarchy. And I was hoping that you guys could have a calm and collected conversation about
I don't know.
patriarchy and systems of the oppressors and the oppressed, white men.
You want a white male to have a conversation about who's oppressed with a black female?
Yes.
That sounds
Yeah.
dope. Not gonna lie.
The white half of you.
I
The
don't
white
know
half
that
of
I
you.
need to have. Thank you. I don't know.
Wait,
that
we
I've
got a
got
black
that
guy
on my
here? What
shoulder. I know. I just don't know that I've got that
we
all
got-
in
we
my
got
heart right now. I
Q.
came here to talk about dating. I don't want to
You're
talk
a male.
about
Oh.
that with my grandfather.
What?
Wait, who's your grandfather?
Sorry, my grandfather's also a white male,
Are
so
you-
I was just
are you
like, I don't
talking
want to
about-
have that.
Did you just say something rather ageist?
No, I'm talking
I'm
about.
deeply offended that
I'm
you would
talking about
refer to
experiences
Andrew
and like.
as a.
I was raised by a white male and a white female, and so.
Oh man,
the,
I can't.
the experience.
Man, talk about entitlement and a brat human being, man. Look at how she's talking about her family, like she's throwing them in the garbage.
Experiences we have are so vastly different that I'm just not even interested in going down that road.
Really,
That's
because
like
you're gonna.
standpoint theory.
Respectfully, it's a lot. It for me, it's just it's a
Yeah.
lot emotionally to have to like
Get out of the.
pack that.
If Brian has the balls, he would tell in that case, just stand up at the table, just go. We don't need you here. You're not adding anything to the conversation. You're just prattling. In that case, just stand up and go. She thinks she owns the podcast. That's why she's acting like that. She's very defensive. Conversations are not moving forward, folks. So she just She just wasting time there.
Make us not understand, but it's
No, I understand. It's called standpoint theory.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
feminist standpoint theory, they went back through and rewrote all of American, literally, I'm not kidding, they rewrote all of American history from the perspective of women because they felt like just giving a detailed actual historic analysis wasn't fair because had to come from the perspective of women. So that's what you're talking about. It's called standpoint theory.
I don't know that I was talking about that.
Well, it's the same exact thing. You're saying because my experience is so vastly different, our perspectives are going to be vastly different, right? But then the question comes down to, well, which perspective should we listen to?
No, it's not that.
Right?
It's just that I don't want to.
No, okay, that's fine.
Okay. Well, maybe we can.
Nah,
get them
Brian.
a
I wanna
talk
little
about
bit
dating,
later.
maybe.
Oh, let's talk about dating.
Nah, Brian, bro, you have to, yeah. This is old school, Brian. No, not old school, but you can tell that during this time, Brian didn't have control of the conversation. Like she literally controlling the conversation on the podcast. You should not allow that to happen.
Related to dating,
Sure.
is it?
Well, feminism, I think that's very much related to dating
It
because
is.
feminism,
Definitely is.
feminism. Okay, so here, you want to talk about dating? Let's talk about dating.
Let's talk about dating.
Let's talk about body count. Let's talk about body count. Do you object? Because a lot of times men care a lot about this. Do you object to men caring about a woman's body count? Starting with you.
I just think body count's arbitrary.
Arbitrary.
Okay.
All right.
Doesn't exist.
Farah, what about you?
I think I've said before, if the man is also highly selective and disciplined, I think it's totally his prerogative to prefer a woman with a low body count.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I don't have a issue with it.
Is it immature?
I'm sorry?
Is it immature for a guy to care about body count? The past is the past.
I really believe that you should get what you want, and if that's something that you want, go for it. Now, would it make me feel sad if I decided if I wasn't part of your crew and I liked you and because of my body count you were not interested? For sure, but will I live? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you're about to be asked a question. You could have started
There's
this.
not room here.
Yeah, there's no room.
Okay.
I feel
Is there
like
room for you, Benson? Let's come this way a little bit.
Nar.
If he takes his leg out, then yes, but
I feel like it's up to the person, to be honest. Like the girl. I mean, if she doesn't mind. Wait, it's up the guy, right?
How do you feel about
Either
men who care
Yeah.
about
Do you object to men having a preference in body count?
Like if.
No, because it's their
Okay.
choice,
All right.
right?
My God.
All right.
I do not object.
Okay. You said it was arbitrary.
Yeah, so to go back on whether I
you're
object or
winning right
not,
now.
I just think that at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's their individual right to choose if they care about that aspect or not. Because for both sides, it's like the aspect I don't care about from
Right.
my perspective. So if someone has that, then it's not a
What?
compatibility
Wow.
factor for us, and that's fine with me.
She almost has a stroke there. I really. Sometimes I'm trying to follow her, but I can't follow her. I don't know if she's really trying to position herself more smart than she looks, or I don't know what she's trying to do here.
Well, arbitrary means without system. So it's not arbitrary. We have a system in place to know what this is, which is how many men a woman's been with. That's the system. So it's not really arbitrary. You make a distinction that it doesn't mean anything or it's not important to you, but it's definitely not arbitrary. So I just like backing up. I'm just curious, why do you think from the man's perspective, if the preference is to hold the double standard, which is that we find it to be very important, you don't find it to be important, do you think we're holding a double standard?
I think this double standard exists if a man has a high body count and refuses to be with women with a low body or high.
But that doesn't
body
make
count.
it wrong. It's
Or-
it is a double standard.
It's a double standard, but it's
by definition.
it's what
What
it's,
the hell's
it's
wrong with
what
her,
they
bro?
choose to do, and I'm just not really in the business of telling men what I think they should or shouldn't do if I'm not interested in having them as friends or partners. So it's just like
Well, going around the table once more. So, some of you said body count doesn't really matter. Don't object to, or you do object perhaps to men caring about body count. You think it shouldn't matter so much. You think it shouldn't be such a big deal. What's your body count?
I don't have an exact number. I have an idea.
Range is fine.
Probably somewhere between 50 to 60.
50 to 60, okay.
Jeez, damn. Man, that's high for that type of woman.
Farah?
Zero.
Into the mic.
0.
That's
Okay.
a lot. That's a lot.
Just real quick, because after the last panel, when you said that, a ton
That's
of
a
people
lie.
went nutso in my Discord and said that they had video of you saying the opposite of that. And that you basically are just LARPing and just
Yeah,
pretending
she's
that
lying.
that's true. And I'm not saying that they're right.
The reason this is not 100%, but you can tell by the energy. You have a high sexual energy. Virgins cannot. Not expose. I would not say expose, but throw the energy of sexuality to the outside. They can't. So she's just lying, straight up.
Right, because I don't know. I'm just saying that that's what they
If
say.
I had to guess what they're responding to is I make skits on TikTok, kind of like satirical skits about discussions of gender. So I have like an off-screen male voice. So he'll ask me a question or I'll read a question being like, what's your body count? And it's all scripted. And I'll say something like, 8. And then he'll say like, that's disgusting. And I'll ask him like a question response. So they're responding to like, yes, skits.
Okay, because every time I've talked with you, it's always been the same. So I had no reason to doubt it, but I had seen that, so I thought I'd ask.
Oh, I don't share.
Range? You want to do
I
a
don't
range?
share.
There we go.
I don't share.
You know what I'm saying? This is what Brian lost in there. This is why she's not respecting the host platform. Do not ever allow this to happen. You see how you have to put authority. You don't follow the, and this has to be discussed before the panel even start. You have to answer questions. You don't want to be part of this panel. We're gonna tell you to leave. 'Cause this is what happened. I don't share.
Probably like 8.
Probably like 8
Dana, that's probably like
Or 9.
or 10
Yeah, I told you.
or 10.
No, not 10.
8 or 9. Okay. All right.
I will not be sharing.
Mhm.
Maddie.
What?
Okay. Well, you've shared before.
Yeah.
She has a boyfriend.
I do.
Multiply it by 3, and that's the real number.
Yes, true. That is true. That's true.
So wait.
that doesn't honest.
Yeah.
Let me be clear. I wouldn't. I mean, if I'm saying that high of a number, if it was higher, I would say it was higher. I would say what it was.
Okay.
Just to be clear, I don't think that rule applies to this
She have to.
situation.
Next
She
time
have
you have
to.
to say 20 because you know they're already going to multiply.
Yeah, so actually it's 20.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Cool. Good talk.
Wait, Brian,
All right.
how many are you at? We just skipped you, and we skipped all the men.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. We'll do the men. We'll do the guys.
Yeah, what do you
Okay.
mean? Why would we not do the men?
I don't know. I lost count. I've been around the block.
Have you said it before on the show?
Yeah, I have said it.
What is it?
I said it was probably between 50 and 60.
Sounds about right. He doesn't give me triple digits, guy.
Oh,
Multiply by
look
that
at
3, and you
that.
have the
No,
That's
minus.
something in common.
Mm-hmm.
I think the quote in the movie is like divided by 3.
Yeah, divided by
Oh,
3.
really?
Yeah.
Because
Ouch.
men will lie.
You should have
but I
said
lost count.
150, bro.
Mason.
0.
Hmm?
Oh, I'm married. I can't disclose that kind of information. If you're not willing to, I'll tell you what. I'll go if you go.
No, I won't be doing
Well,
that.
that's it.
No, I'll go if
I'm
you
not
go.
married. I'm not doing that.
Oh.
When I
Yeah, I
want
know,
something down,
that's
then we
fine.
can come back here. I got you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I
Okay.
don't know what that has to do with anything.
Yeah,
I'll
no.
definitely go if you go.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
tell.
I
I'll say
don't
who.
really
Here
care that much
Did
to
you
share it with you.
yourself for
She's
marriage?
testing a lot.
Huh?
Did you save yourself for
If I
marriage?
show you yours, you show me mine. Hell.
Okay, all right.
I don't know that. She's annoying as hell, bro. She's annoying as hell, man. She's very difficult. You have to check them from the beginning, man. Straight them out. You don't want to be part of. You don't want to answer questions. You want to play games. Stand up and go. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.